let's get started. I'm Clayton from Nintendo of America. I'm a member of NOA's software development support group. We're in charge of assisting developers with whatever sort of technical needs or problems arise while they're developing their games. So one of the things we do is support the tools that developers are using when developing for our platform, so the Nintendo 3DS and Wii U. With me is Slava from NOE. I skipped past this slide. He's been doing web development for 10 years, and he'll be helping us with some demos. So here's the agenda for our talk. First, I'll cover our vision for Wii U, sort of what it is and how it works and where we want to go with it. We'll take a quick look at what challenges and opportunities there are in developing for Wii U, and then we'll take a look at our new development environment and how that will help you tackle that. We'll have a few technical demos, and then we'll close with some business-related news and a quick recap. So to get started, apologies for those of you who were here yesterday for James' talk. Some of this might look a little similar. So Wii U is Nintendo's newest platform, released for North America, Europe, Australia, and Japan at the end of last year. So it has a new controller, the Wii U GamePad, which provides a close-at-hand experience with a built-in touchscreen, in addition to a complement of buttons and analog sticks. The predecessor to the Wii U was the Wii console, which with its user-friendly playstyle via the Wii remote controller was widely accepted and brought families together to play video games in living rooms all across the world. So with the Wii U GamePad and its additional screen, we're taking the concept of the whole family and friends together in the living room and building upon it. With a new social interface called Miiverse, where in-game experiences can be shared around the world via the internet, we're developing new ways for people to enjoy new experiences by connecting your living rooms together. So that's out of the way. Let's take a look at what you can do with Wii U. One of the biggest opportunities with the Wii U is the GamePad's second screen. I hope you're thinking or have thought about what can you do with the two screens together. So at the simplest level, you don't even have to do anything. We can have software played just on the GamePad alone. So for the example from yesterday, let's say you wanted to play New Super Mario Bros. U, but at the same time, your dad wants to watch a football match. Sorry, we have American football. Normally, you wouldn't be able to play Mario while your dad's watching TV, but with the Wii U GamePad, you can play at any time because you've got the GamePad screen right in your hand. You don't have to fight over a shared television. So taking that farther, you could have everyone in the living room together looking at the big TV screen. Even having the same thing on the GamePad is still pretty fun, and that's also super easy to do. So I think for those of you who regularly make games for one screen, take a look at getting it up and running on both screens, and then once you've got that, you can kind of play with it and figure out what you can do to effectively use both of them. So we already have a lot of applications released for the Wii U that make good use of both screens, and as I think that after you get the device in your hand, you'll be inspired to do great things with that. So I'm excited to see what everyone can come up with. So the style of the close-at-hand Wii U GamePad and the bigger TV screen is something we found to be very compatible with the internet and web services. So we're going to talk a little bit about that via the Wii U internet browser. So for an example, we have a video-on-demand site viewed through the Wii U browser. So you can search through videos with the GamePad, and this is pretty good because with a large distance between the TV and where you're sitting on your couch, the smaller font used on websites can be hard to read on a TV, plus the extra distance isn't super helpful. But the GamePad has the LCD screen. It's right in your hands. So that's convenient. And so when you play playing videos with the GamePad then launches them up on the TV for everyone to see, and then you continue using the GamePad to interact with the application. You can queue up new videos or search for content or whatever. So this is one of the ways of using the GamePad and the large TV to improve upon existing ways we already use these services. Also, the Wii U GamePad is a standard component of the Wii U hardware system. So this sort of functionality is available to every Wii U owner. It doesn't require you to own a separate piece of hardware, and setting it up is much simpler because it all comes together out of the box. So we have a bunch of applications already taking advantage of this. It was originally released in North America with Hulu Plus, Amazon Instant Video, YouTube, and other web services available at launch. And these all have that similar kind of interface. So another example we have of this is the recently launched Wii Street U by Google. So this service takes Google's Maps Street View and lets you play with it in a new way using features unique to the Wii U. So it features sites, and you can click around and go to famous places and visit them, look at your house, which is what everyone does with Street View. And this combination can change how we experience web services. So this is available for free online for those of you who have a Wii U, and I believe we're showing it off at our booth here and the rest of the week at Nordic. So come by and take a look at it if you're interested. So a closer look at what it actually takes to develop for Wii U. So developing an application or a game using a standard SDK requires a lot of work. Traditionally, in software development for consoles, in order to get the special functions of the hardware, you're interacting with a low-level OS that's prepared, and this API is C or C++ generally, and you use that to build your game, and it's time-consuming. It takes a while to develop. It takes a while to edit, build everything. However, due to recent increases in hardware performance and also depending on what your application requires, it may not be necessary to go through all this work to get the absolute best of the performance out of the hardware. So with that in mind, we've created a framework for developing Wii U applications using web technologies. So HTML5 and JavaScript are the big ones. So Nintendo Web Framework is what we're announcing and showing off. So Wii Street U and some of the video on demand apps were actually built with a prototype of this. So they were created much quicker and much more pleasantly than they would have been had they been written in C and C++. So we've already saved people plenty of time and effort with it. So Nintendo Web Framework is based on WebKit. It supports all the web standards you would expect: HTML5, JavaScript, cascading style sheets. It's all there. As a result, it's got great compatibility with existing web apps, and it's possible to develop applications really quickly with it. So for those of you who were at the prototyping talk yesterday, I just want to point out this is a great example for prototyping your web applications and also getting those up and running on a console, playing with the hardware. So if you've already got a web application up and running on a PC or mobile device, please try porting your services to Nintendo Web Framework. It takes almost no time and effort. We're going to do it here in a few minutes to get them running up on the GamePad, which is the default display for Nintendo Web Framework. So here you are. You've already implemented the just on the GamePad with no work. Well, virtually no work. So after that, small amount of work, you can get the up and running on the TV as well. So at that point, what's next is up to you. So how are you going to use these two screens? We have our own ideas. We've got some games out, obviously. But we've always been impressed with, in the past, with the creative surprises our developers come up with our hardware. So who more creative than you guys? So I hope you surprise us. Nintendo Web Framework is capable of more than just web services. In recent years, the performance of JavaScript has greatly improved, thanks to Google, Mozilla, and others. And there are many web games that have developed using just web technologies. So let's see those games. With Nintendo Web Framework, developers can easily prototype quickly and even develop games for retail and our digital distribution. So I suspect most of you are using Unity. Is that true? No? No one? No one here uses Unity. OK. Anyone doing web development also? All right. On Nintendo Web Framework, you'll be able to use those same technologies. And of course, if you have Unity, we have Unity for Wii U available also. You'll be able to utilize the various input devices built around the Wii U GamePad. So we've been talking about the success of Swedish developer Horburg Productions, their game Gunman Clive, as originally released in iOS and Android, and it later became available as a downloadable application for the Nintendo 3DS. About a month after it launched, sales on our platform surpassed total sales on the other two for this game. So there's plenty of factors involved here, but I think one of the big things is the actual physical inputs on it, having the plus control pad, having the buttons, especially for an action game like this. So with things like the control pad, the sticks, and that are greatly compatible with sort of this traditional gaming, there's a lot of potential there for improving control over other web interfaces. So I don't think you can beat having some hardware built just for that. So I want to encourage you to give it a try. So for a little bit of explanation about how Nintendo Web Framework is organized and its features. So developing with it is really simple. So you have a dev kit piece of Wii U development hardware and just a regular PC running Windows 7. Install Nintendo Web Framework is a single executable you run and it installs on your PC or virtual machine, and then connect that over the network to the dev kit. And then also, if you want to download assets from a web server, the dev kit does that through an internet connection. That's kind of all there is to setting it up. That's a lie. There's more to setting it up, but the overview, it should be that simple. So a feature of Nintendo Web Framework Runtime is that it allows applications that are developed using these web technologies to be run on Wii U. But at the same time, it allows for applications to easily use the features and functionality built into the Wii U hardware and our system software. So as you can see, we've got all the WebKit goodies built on our native SDK and libraries, talking straight to the hardware and controllers, giving you access to those. And as I've mentioned before, all the gamepad buttons, the analog sticks, plus control pad are all easy to use in terms of the game. And you've got the touchscreen, accelerometer, gyroscope, and camera. All these are also available through Nintendo Web Framework. We've created WebKit plugins, basically, that expose these through JavaScript. So other stuff, other extensions. We have access to the system memory on the console. We have a standard software keyboard, so you don't have to write your own video playback and other stuff. Miiverse in particular, we don't have time to cover all those details today, but come by and talk to us if that's something you're interested in. So let's take a look at some of the demos. So here's what we've got. First, we're going to do porting the web app. I'll talk a little bit about the extensions some more. We'll take a look at a game and a technical demo that was prepared and we're giving out with source code and documentation. That is a pretty full-featured demo of what you can do, how to use these features. And we'll take a look at a quick little performance demo. All right. Let's see what we got, Slava. OK. So let's take an existing web application and get it up and running. So do you want to take a look at it in Chrome first? So this is a mock-up video-on-demand app. It's built in HTML5. It uses popular libraries, jQuery's in there, I think maybe underscore. We navigate, so you can click around with the mouse. You can scroll all the stuff that you'd expect. There's categories on the left you can click around in. And you click on a video, and it launches it in a video element tag. So yeah, it's got controls, play, pause, jump around, all the common stuff. And so this would feel at home on the PC or as a mobile application. It's all just kind of there. And in fact, these kind of mobile applications are a great fit for the gamepad. So let's take a look at how easy it is to load this on the Wii U. So minimize this, and let's open our dashboard. So the dashboard is a tool we've developed that assists developers in interfacing with a development kit. And this is the Nintendo Web Framework dashboard. So it's an interface between you, your application code, and the dev kit. Right here the output is a console log showing you output from WebKit, output from our development libraries, anything you console log. We've got great big buttons for load and run. Those are the important ones. So this gives you the sort of experience that you're familiar with in a browser. Edit your code, hit refresh, see your changes. So let's open up our project and get started. All right, let's take a look at the project settings, and we'll see that we've got it set up to run on the GamePad. All right, so index.html on the GamePad. And then let's pick a device to run on. Oh, you did that already. OK, great. So you can pick a target to run on. This is great if you're sharing devices. You have more programmers than dev kits. So you can only use one as you need it and let it go. And the sort of dashboard handles doing that quickly. So go ahead and run the application. And switch our input to the GamePad up there. All right. All right, here we go. Our application is up and running. The touchscreen is mapped to mouse events. Should be able to drag this. There we go. It's not liking my finger. We can click on a video and launch it. Everything works just as expected out of the box. And we made no changes to that code. However, you see on the TVs where we have the Wii U console output, there's nothing because we haven't told it to play anything. So let's go in and fix that. So we're going to set the playback page to the TV. So the way this works is you can figure a different web page to run on each screen, and they are able to talk to each other. They just get a handle to the other page's window element. And a few small edits here. We'll set this is Wii U flag to true because live code is scary. So we did this ahead of time. So this is going to change a little bit of how the app works. But here, if we can highlight, these are the big changes here. We grab the display manager, and we give it access to both of the pages so that we can have them talk to each other. So the document object for each page is going into the loader function. And with those changes in place, let's switch back to the dashboard and reload the application. Oh, we didn't put in the license. You didn't see that. We have licenses. OK, so Slava stopped it, but you could have just hit reload, and it would have reloaded right there. Here we go. All right, so same as before. I can navigate around on the GamePad, take a look at what's going on. And when I launch a video, we've got it showing on the TV output. And this is still interactive. So hopefully you see how that was pretty straightforward. So despite changing that flag, it wasn't really a lot of work. So what if something goes wrong with this? We can actually debug the application that's running on the Wii U too. So let's take a look at the dashboard again. OK, can you launch the inspector? So here we have the WebKit inspector is built in. and it does what you would expect. So you can see on the screen as he's highlighting elements, you get your CSS details, everything showing up. So we can expect it as normal. You can change styling on the fly. So we've prepared some animations. So let's take that row of thumbnails and make them bounce a little. All right, there we go. Exciting. So that's a quick overview of getting everything up and running, getting the two screens interacting. So let's take a look at some of the other features of Nintendo Web Framework. We go back to, yeah, there we go. Oh, can you take care of that? All right. So the Wii U hardware, obviously there's no existing JavaScript API for that, so we've created our extensions. So NWF is the name of the API, and that provides access to the Wii U hardware and software. So here's a few of the packages in the namespace. So the core contains the display manager, system settings, like what region you're in, what language you're set to, and all that. And a custom event dispatcher optimized for the Wii U. Input and media, you've got the gamepad, the Wii remotes, the extension controllers, buttons, gyros, accelerometer, all that. Full access to Miiverse, networking features, friend presence, all of that. And some utilities. We have a built-in profanity filter, so you don't have to implement that yourself. As I said, the software keyboard, error displays is all standardized stuff that's available. So can we take a look at this in practice? Yeah, Sketch Battle. Do you have it up? OK. So this demo was developed by our partner in Japan, TeamLab, and it was created as an elaborate test case, as I was saying, to push the performance of Nintendo Web Framework, and this will be included with full source code and comments to use as a reference. So let's go. Let's just go straight to the battle mode. Oh, hey, I'm doing this part. All right, so Slava's going to pick a character here, and we'll get to play around a little bit. So some of the stuff I was going to show, and I'm skipping for time's sake. But the level editor uses HTML canvas element. It saves and loads the level, stores it as a bitmap, calls get image data on that element. But here we can go in and play a level. So this supports up to 4 Wii remotes. We only have one at the moment. But that's how it goes. So while he's doing that, I can use the touchpad to interact with him, add some enemies for him to fight, or drop some beach balls on him, or whatever. Another thing I can do is take a picture. Whoa. All right. I can mess with physics here. You can see on the screens, I'm rotating and sending him flying. Give him a shake. Box2D, the JavaScript port of that is what's providing the physics here. And but there you have it. That's a lot of what's going on. We'll have this at the demo too if you want to come take a look and play around with it. So let's go back to the presentation, and we'll talk about some of the performance stuff going on. OK. So performing at, as you can see, it's performing at a level that real-time games need. Normally, you'd want to eliminate intervening code for speed. But as we had earlier, just building on that thin OS or directly to the hardware. But because Nintendo Web Framework has abstracted a bunch of these lower-level APIs in the name of simpler development, it doesn't mean we aren't focusing on performance. So we've implemented a fast JavaScript virtual machine. And we've taken advantage of the Wii U's GPU to accelerate a lot of the drawing that gets done. So both DOM elements and the Canvas API are drawn and backed by the CPU. So this gives us some particularly powerful bitmap rendering performance. And let's take a look at that if it's up in a second. So what you'll see here is GUI Mark III, which is a popular mobile Canvas benchmark. This test will be unchanged from the one served on the GUI Mark website. So there you go, 60 frames per second without a problem. We're not exactly pushing our limits here on the hardware, though. So let's take a look at the demo code and see if we can make this a little more extreme. All right. So this should put us in 720p HD output. And let's go to the dashboard and reload and take a look at what happens. All right, so we've got 700 sprites, still at 60 frames per second, just fine. So that's, it's quite a lot of bullets. All right, thank you, Slava. OK, so I hope everyone got a sense of how easy it is to develop using the features of Nintendo Web Framework, a sense of the performance it's capable of. So I'd like to share with you some of the inspiration behind the Nintendo Web Framework. So there's something special in the logo here. If you'll take a look, we have a PowerPoint animation problem. Stalks of Bamboo. So Bamboo was actually the code name for Nintendo Web Framework. And to take a look at some of the reasoning behind that, in Japan, bamboo is a very popular plant, obviously. Its roots branch out through the ground, creating a strong framework that shores up and supports the soil. After that, from spring to the beginning of the summer, it sprouts from the ground and grows really quickly in a short amount of time. So the hope is that if we make a solid framework, everyone will be able to develop applications quickly and comfortably, which is something that we've kept in mind, and so the code name was Bamboo. And to ensure that feeling wouldn't be forgotten after release, we've stuck Bamboo in the logo. So this is a new development environment, but I hope that everyone will use it and it will grow and grow. So also, yesterday, we had to talk about Unity for Wii U. We're excited about opportunities for both of these for independent developers. And as I keep saying, we've got demonstrations and stuff running all at the booth all week. So come have a look, talk to us. We'd love to hear from you. So how do you get Nintendo Web Framework? So after a contract has been entered between Nintendo and the Wii U developer, you can purchase a dev kit and then use Nintendo Web Framework or Unity at no cost. We're making improvements to what it means to become a Nintendo Web developer. So we're going to get into that here. So some of the big key points we're changing about our business policies. In the EU and the US, there's no concept approval for your game. You can make what you please. You don't have to ask us, can I please make a platformer? Go ahead and do it. In addition, price and release date of applications can be independently set by you. You choose when and where and how much. You can have sales. You can do everything you want. And profit distribution is industry standard, so it's what you'd expect. So moving to console, taking your stuff and getting it running on the console, we understand that for many of you, there's some common barriers in moving to Wii U. However, it offers a lot of unique opportunities in terms of game design and business. So if there's something stopping you from using the console, we want to know about it. We want to help you overcome those barriers. So let's take a look at some of them. So we're changing and adapting to new scenarios as they arise. So for an example, with the NDA process, we used to require that you have an office. And we understand that people work from home, people work in an incubator or whatever. So we've rescinded that requirement. Now the requirement is just be able to keep a dev kit safe. However it is that you do that and can prove it to us. You don't necessarily need an office. So if you feel you might not meet certain requirements that you might have heard about, come talk to us. Let us know your concerns, and we'll try to figure out what we can do to help you develop on our platform. Another big one is dev kit costs. And this can be formidable, and it doesn't help that we don't disclose the cost until you have the NDA. So I won't go into details, but we do have plans to help get those in your hands. Excuse me, and we don't want a lack of funds to prevent you from success on Wii U. So again, come talk to us. We're here all week. You can email us, get a business card, whatever. A third big barrier is technical compliance. So lot check is something you may have heard of, may have horror stories about. This is certainly much more rigorous than mobile store requirements. We have a reputation for being strict and perhaps capricious. But we're trying to change that. We're streamlining things for all applications. And then on top of that, Nintendo Web Framework and Unity take care of a lot of those problems for you. As an example, there are requirements that you not write to NAND too frequently because you can wear out consumer hardware, and we don't want to do that. Unity and Nintendo Web Framework take care of meeting your frequency of write requirements. So as a developer, that's just a technical concern that you don't have to worry about. You can focus on your game or your application or whatever you're building. So yes, we're definitely aware of the issues and barriers facing small indie developers moving to console. And obviously, I can't talk about everything right here, but definitely come talk to us. We want to talk to you. We want to hear from you. We want you to develop on our hardware. So if you don't have time or you want to share this with someone else, we have a website, wiiu-developers.nintendo.com. You can get more information there. You can go there to sign up to become a developer. So everyone, please use Nintendo Web Framework and try developing applications for the Wii U. So with the large TV screen in the living room and the handy Wii U GamePad close at hand, combined with the internet, I think there's a lot of potential for services and games everyone's developing to reach a much larger audience. So let's bring a new world of entertainment into our living rooms together. Thank you for your time. Are there any questions? We have a mic.
I have a question about updates, because I work as a web developer, and
Sure.
I know that it is really important to have a up-to-date browser. And are you gonna update the consoles frequently, and are you gonna push those updates, or is it gonna be like Internet Explorer that I have to think about? Well, some have the Nintendo Web Framework 1.0 and some have 3.0, and how are you gonna do about that?
Sure. I definitely recognize that that's a concern, and we're still deciding exactly how we're going to handle updates. But it's something we're aware of and want to make sure. But your games, so games and applications, the idea is once they're released, they should work in, as they are, and we'll try to get updates out as we can.
So I have a question on how do I update my own code once my app is deployed?
So there's two possibilities there. We do have an update mechanism for updating applications that are downloaded from the store. So if you've got static content that is packaged up with your application, you can re-upload that to the store, and users will get the option to download it. Maybe it's not an option; it might be required. But secondly, also, if you grab your web pages from a server somewhere that you control, just change, upload the content there.
So are you responsible for delivering, or am I doing that myself with the web apps?
Responsible for what? I'm sorry?
I mean, do I have to put the app on a CDN myself, or can we use some of yours or whatever? I mean, how do I deploy the web, all my files for my web app?
Sure. So if in the development process, there's a folder that has your static content that's going to be bundled up in it, and the dashboard will bundle that up into the package. So if you're doing that, then that's there, and that will all of that. So the executable and the content kind of become a package and are uploaded to our store, and there's tools for managing that.
I have a question about technical compliance and logic.
Yes.
So logic is quite a big deal, and you need manuals and AIDS rating certificates. Is there anything that's simpler or easier when making apps like this?
So come talk to me about manuals. I don't think they're actually required. I mean, certainly not for digital titles, obviously not a paper manual. But I'm not entirely sure that the electronic manual is required either.
Yeah, they are, unfortunately, also for eShop games.
Okay.
So.
So is there anything easier? No, games have to go through lot check, but the hope is that by Nintendo Web Framework and Unity for Wii U, taking care of most of the concerns that we've narrowed down the focus of what you have to comply with.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay. You guys want me to announce that there is a giveaway in the main theater at some time after this, right now? In a few minutes? Okay. All right. Thank you very much.